look at those cloud formations, actually, if you look close, you see how there are like so many distinctions and differentiations. Like differences, distinctions are, you could say, this is another highlight than this. But then you already reduce it, you know, like you say that these are just two highlights. But in actual reality, there are so many more distinctions that you neglect by making distinctions. This is where differentiations come in. So you can basically go there and say, okay, these are not two distinctions, but these are two differentiations. Like, meaning this is a little bit above the other one. This little cloud piece is a little bit above the other cloud piece. When you make this differentiation, then you become more aware that there are more distinctions. Then you can look for more distinctions and expand your view. So this is just an visual perception, but this is a metaphor that applies to the way how you think. You can, for example, listen to the music here. And the music has a lot of rhythms and melody and nuances. And our mind reduces it. Usually when we listen to music, we maybe just listen to the lyrics and a little bit to the beat. But we don't hear all those little fine distinctions. We can become more aware about it but via differentiations. If you go in and open up to entropy. Free energy principle by Karl Friston. By opening up and finding more distinctions. Differentiations instead. Also, because in your subjective interface you have lots of distinctions. For example, here, if you look at this, you have one distinction. You say this is one element, this is one element, and so on, and this would be one element. So you reduce it in your mind to be able to process it. You create symbols in your mind, and to expand your mind and find pattern. It is important to then go in, open up to entropy. And instead of further reducing it, you need to open up to your insecurity and basically say, okay, this is not a distinction, but it's actually a differentiation, meaning this is a little bit more in this side than this one, but it's not an isolated element. It still has further differentiations and further differentiations and further, like you can differentiate this point from this point, like there are edges on this, right? So you can differentiate those edges from this line. There's but they are not distinct. They are different, because as soon as you say something is distinct, you reduce it in your mind. If you say it's just different, then you open up to the possibility that there are more differentiations and distinctions. In this way you can open up more to entropy and find new elements. So this you have to see on a metaphorical element and apply to the way how our mind works. When we look at topics, like in visual perception and so on, it's just a training, a metaphor. Where it has its two strengths is if you look at social topics, at happenings in society and structures of society, whoever you look at, our mind perceives everything with distinctions usually, because we reduce entropy to be able to perceive anything at all. But the way how you can basically, find more. Yeah, it's just. If you look at, for example, institutions, usually you see them, or companies, you see them in distinctions, but then you can go in and say, okay, they are just a differentiation and they have a lot of more. In the end, you need to come to a place where you don't see things as isolated elements, but more as relations that affect each other with cause and effect, like a giant web of things. And this is systems thinking. And then you perceive things more as a system. And then you can go more and more and find more and more causal chains that are like a web, affecting each other. It's like a one dynamic web, which in the end we are just one vibrating, they're just frequency vibrating, And you can, to some extent. And this, for example, in the end, all the atoms that you see, they're not hard elements. They just have like a certain frequency and repulsion. So you cannot, the frequency of your hand cannot go through this frequency. But it's not. It's only in our mind it's hard matter. So if you understand this, you can see things more clearly, and cause and effect and everything. And it's just music and visuals are awesome to train this in your mind, to then apply it to giant topics when you think about things, to more intuitively start to feel how it flows. You can do it's a little bit when you dance. Dancers use the same. When they dance to music, they dance by using this technique unconsciously, because our intuitive mind processes things in pattern. The power of intuition, Gary Klein. And you can. This is where I haven't read his book, but I think it's a little bit about this topic. And yeah. You can your intuitive mind processes things differently. We are pattern analysis, and then you can go in and sense things more, and then you can via the sensing understand topics instead of via hard logic. Because if you look at this via logic, you see just different distinctions. Well, that's it, and then you don't understand everything. You don't understand how things affect each other. You need to open up to the interflowing web of how everything connects to understand it. This is how musicians create music. This is how, in the end, we are by the same phenomenon, interconnected via morphogenic fields by Rupert Sheldrake or something similar at least. But you can basically use this technique to go into spirituality and just sense frequencies and things, and this way link into the unity conscious, where you can like kind of download information in the sense by opening up to the frequencies that you vibe with a little bit. And yeah, that's how it is. So hope this explanation helps to understand the way of systems thinking. You can read also books of Robert Kegan and Otto Laske and Susanne R Cook-Greuter, I think it's pronounced. Yeah. Oh, you see it here in water. There you see it. That's why I'm with Daily Magic always so fascinated with water, because this uses exactly this technique. This is why I was in the last year so much focused on like vibrating water, sun reflections and all this, because there this technique comes in. There exactly this is, there you don't have distinctions, but then you can feel your unconscious mind to understand these patterns and just feel it. I mean, in this, it's here, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't help you, but it's training that you then can apply to thought patterns about different topics to understand the world better. And if you pay more attention to science and everything, then you start to understand that the way how entropy is reduced is influenced by consciousness a little bit. Like it's, if you will just start, your magical life will look far more will start to look more magical if you use this sort of perception, and you will see so much more magic stuff and science and reality talking with you, and because it also reflects your psychology. Like to some extent, it doesn't really talk with you, but it seems to you like this because your psychology filters your perception. When you look like this, there's so many things. But if you're interested in Vikings, then you will see the sign of Vikings first, huh? Right? Because your unconscious mind detects it first, and you will read this. So you see, or if you will are interested in the crown pricks, you will notice this one. So your perceptions are influenced by your own preferences, and this way, when you see things that catch your mind, then you can get noticed. Oh, okay, and you know, this is your familiarity. So let's be curious about the syncopations of it, like not that what really catches your attention, but the stuff and the periphery of it. To find more differentiation. You're interested in Vikings, okay, but you know, what about North England and at the same time that was conquered by the Vikings? What's about them? You like be curious about your unfamiliarity. You're curious about this. Why you're not curious about the other side? And so your psychology filters everything, and by paying attention to what catches your eyes and ears, you can get to know yourself better from a different point of view that you could never otherwise, because otherwise you have unconscious filters. You didn't know that you actually like Vikings, but if you look at this and this catches your attention, it's a sign that maybe your unconscious mind overvalues somehow Vikings. Maybe it's a sign wants to tell you something that you should research this topic, or the opposite of it, or this is exactly, you should then just open up and just go in and walk with such eyes throughout life. And whatever catches your attention, be aware that it catches your attention, because most likely it has something to do with your inner sense making that you are not aware of, or that you are aware of, but most of the time we aren't aware of. So so our perceptions are a way to get to know ourselves better. That's daily magic. It's everywhere around you if you just open more up, and then you can lead your life more intuitively. This way it guides you. It's God in this way. Sophia, entropy. The ancient Gnostics called it entropy. Sophia. We call it entropy, the physical phenomenon of it, Sophia. And it's like as if God is a woman. Ariana Grande, she wrote a song about it. Because we fall from this phenomenon in this life, and in the end we go back to this phenomenon. If our mind, our body, if we die, no matter what you believe about it, but like we go back to this state, our mind. Either it dissolves, or maybe it sustains. That's your choice. You can believe what you want. But you have, but I can say with this, you have a more likelihood to sustain your mind and to survive after death if you have a strong mind. What I mean by this is honoring your free will, because if your true free will, which just arises on the being aware about your shadows, because only if you're aware about your shadows you can truly decide, otherwise you're just a robot. And if you truly decide your impact that you have on this realm, on decohered reality, because you're impacting, we are all creating the decohered reality, but it's predictable. Only our divergence of free will drives it in different directions, and your free will, like if you affect the society, the system, and you die, the effects will still stay. So in this sense, you kind of live on throughout your free will that you exert during your lifetime. So when you live, you might want to care about your free will, about your choices, about how you want to affect this, what you want to leave behind with this. You should really care about this. The same is we have unity consciousness, meaning our consciousness is connected. You can see this in experiments with rats, you can see it everywhere. It's not some theory, somehow our minds are connected. I don't know how, I don't know the science of it, but we could get to know the science of it if we would go more into it. It's not like magic. And telepathy is also a thing that's more real than most people think, but it only works if both people are like more opening up. And the thing is that you can, like after death, I don't know what happens after death. Most don't know, but you have a higher likelihood of your mind staying alive within the realm of unity consciousness, what we call spirit world. It's basically another frequency bandwidth that's quite here. There are spiritual entities that you can like kind of communicate with, and after death you might become part of this realm, which is our unity consciousness. It's like a hard drive. Like throughout life we are connected to this. And if you evolve a strong mind in the sense of honoring your taste and spine, then there's a higher chance that the way you affected unity consciousness is a part, because that's a part of yourself, and this will live on even if your body dies and if your mind dies. The parts of how you affected unity consciousness will still be there, and this is what many people might experience as spiritual entities, spiritual world. So in this sense, and it's also just from a logic point of view, the things that we should care the most about: free will, taste, and spine. Taste, it's even enjoyable, right? But we should care about what we actually enjoy, because otherwise we corrupt our taste. Do we eat like sweet sugar? That corrupts your taste. But stop eating for 1 month. Take 1 month, eat no sugar at all, and then just eat fruits and natural products, and then try to eat sugar again. You will see like, well, it doesn't taste good. It tastes like you cannot understand in the mirror how you were able to eat it in the first place. At least the very, very sugary products and the very, very fast food stuff. And so you will just go like, oh, how were I able to eat it in the past? It's because in the past your taste was corrupt. It was distorted by your calibration, because your calibration is just to whatever you are surrounded by. It's the same as everything, with what you're used to, with your moral compass, with everything. So be careful about what you engage in, because it affects your taste, and your taste is your mental spine in some. It's connected to mental spine, because if your taste is better calibrated, you will choose better food for yourself, so you have a spine for your health. But this is just one example. This applies to everything, to thought topics, to the business relationships, to everything this applies. So you need to honor your taste and spine. Be proud of it, because this is also the foundation of, like, it's your essence of your free will in this sense also. It's like, this is what also guides your will. So you can use free will to optimize your taste and spine. That's what we all do. I mean, we do it, but most do it unfortunately in the wrong way and don't care about it and just corrupt it. And if we are more thoughtful about this, the way how we can become more thoughtful about this is by differentiations, seeing the distinctions on our interface, from distinctions going into differentiations, and seeing there is more to it. This happens because, like, on our interface theory of perception, Donald D Hoffman, you have like distinctions, but if you open up to differentiation, seeing that, okay, these are not, you can say this is a distinct cloud piece and this is a distinct cloud piece, but then you reduce all those fine details, and you can open up to these fine details by seeing, oh, these are not distinctions but differentiations. This is like a highlight, and this is different, a little bit more down than this one. It's a differentiation. It's more like a frequency that has more details, and there are more. This is a differentiation because there's an edge than this, and if you you just open up to the details more, and you find pattern, and can apply system thinking, which then helps to calibrate your taste and spine in a more objective way, like you could say from God's perspective. Sophia, God is a woman. Ariana Grande. Listen to the song and do the things that I mentioned in this video.